Back in the early 70s, I was as fit as a fiddle. I was a keen mountain walker with Phil, one of my best pals, and together we decided that we would go on an overland trip to the Everest Base Camp. All I needed was a bus and some friends to do that with, and we linked in with a couple of friends from the Boys Club, Peter and Ken, and we called the whole thing an Ellesmere Port Boys Club Everest Expedition. Once we got into Iran, when the Shah was still in power, we felt reasonably safe. It was like coming out of the dark ages from Afghanistan. I made the decision that perhaps we should push on and stop at a highway patrol police station. Unfortunately, at 9 o'clock, when it was pitch black, we hadn't come across any police patrols. It was getting far too dangerous to drive, and again I said that perhaps we should pull in at the roadside. Something must have disturbed me towards dawn, because I awoke, turned my head around. Looking down, there was two characters who were throwing rocks at the vehicle. A boulder, what I thought was a boulder, hit me in the sternum. I put my hand inside my sleeping bag to feel my stomach, and that didn't feel part of me. I pushed it, put my hand further down to my legs, and this was just like jelly. Peter shouted, "They've got a gun." And there was gunfire. Bullets had gone through the side of the vehicle and had gone into Ken's head. Phil was frantically trying to help him and keep out of fire of gunshots. Peter jumped off the vehicle at these two characters, who then turned around and started to flee across the fields. And Peter came back and was left to pick up all the pieces. We didn't realise at the time that I had been shot. We drove into a Red Crescent hospital. Immediately we were both x-rayed. Bullets were found in Ken's head, which one had just stopped before the brain. The bullet was removed, and immediately he made a full recovery. But in my case, the bullet had gone through the spinal cord, caused the paralysis, and so it was simply then just a case of me getting used to the psychological effects of being paralysed and physically getting used to life in a wheelchair. I knew straight away how lucky I'd been. You know, had the bullet gone half an inch to one side, it would have gone through the heart. It had gone through half an inch to the other side, it would have gone through a lung. Miraculously, I'd been given a second chance here. I'd just finished my training as a reporter when I went out to Everest. And when I came back, even when I was lying in a hospital bed, the editor of the Ellesmere Port News, Dave Williams, said to me, "As soon as you're in your wheelchair, there's a job here for you." I talked the editor of the Echo into letting me start this disability column, which again was really revolutionary back in the early 80s then. When they were reporting about disability, it was usually a story of somebody doing something fantastic, but that was it. That wasn't really helping people by providing them with information about holidays, where people could go, what kind of sports they could get involved in, employment issues and college education. Back in 2004, I decided that after 30 years of working at the Echo, it was time to leave, to try and set up a new charity called All Together Now. It took us 12 months to actually launch the paper, and since then we've gone from launching at 50,000 papers to we're now up to 110,000. All Together Now, it is what the name says. It's all about bringing people together and giving people who are affected by disability information about opportunities to improve their lives.
All Together Now has covered everything from information about our stroke services through to some of the work done by our wheelchair and prosthetic services. It's a great way of reaching people who are facing disabilities all across the region, and that's why Aintree is very proud of the work that we are doing with All Together Now.
I think All Together Now is a really informative newspaper. I think it offers a lot of information regarding mobility, things of ways to contact people, and I think, you know, all that information is great that you've got it within a newspaper.
With being the mother of an autistic child, I can keep up to date with news, advertisements, days, things, you know, if they have coffee buns anyway, things like that. And it's nice to know that, you know, there's a wider community.
We saw an article on Hugh Thomas, who had his own company creating ProMove slings. The school have purchased the slings for those awkward situations where you might have to evacuate a young person, or for a situation when you need to get in and out of awkward places. There's some excellent opportunities for disabled people and good work getting done by disabled people as well. So it's really important to have a forum for this to be shared.
Unlike lots of other newspapers, demand is actually increasing. We've got almost 500,000 readers right across the region, with a 90% pickup at hospitals, health centres. It's available in schools, universities, and we've even got requests for a couple of prisons. There are 3 million people in the Northwest who face disability and serious health issues, who aren't getting the information that they need. And if we can get more support, then who knows just how many more people we'll be able to help.